Somebody gets on YouTube and sees my picture, it'd probably scare them to death.
I know. I'm quite frightened, Al. Just don't look at mine.
Suppose we could have had the meeting in the machine shed or something. There's enough room there.
We could get real social distance there. All right.
My kind of setting. I know. I'm quite frightened, Al. Just don't look at mine.
All right. All right. Hold on 1 second. Hey, Jack, you can see us? Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. I think we're live on YouTube. So I guess first meeting post COVID-19, or I guess during COVID-19. Take it away, Al.
Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Oh,
You got the roll call, Jennifer?
I just let Molly's joining us right now too. So it looks like we have everybody. Can you hear us, Molly?
I see an icon, but I don't see Molly.
Can you hear us, Molly?
Maybe she has a mute on.
She might.
Usually there's a little icon with like a cross through the microphone if someone's on mute.
Yeah.
And I don't see that, so.
I have not turned the sound on though. I think you were the only one that had that figured out quick.
Ew.
Yeah, it looks like she's on mute.
Somebody hold up a sign. Write it on a paper and hold it up so she can see it. Can she see us, but she just can't hear us?
Marilyn, where was yours at? Was it on the bottom or top?
All right, Molly,
you?
can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right.
Okay, good.
All right, I think we're all in. Okay, Al. Fire away again.
Got the roll call done. And approval of agenda.
I don't have any changes. I think everything's still the same as it was. So
Is there a motion to approve the agenda as submitted here?
Move to
I make a
approve.
motion. Okay, go ahead.
Marilyn made,
I'll second.
Greg seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Minutes of the previous meeting.
yeah, I had a chance to look through them. It looked like Al and Molly did too. Everything looked good there. So I think we're good on those. And then, like I said, we can get those signed. It's not that important to get those signed and posted or anything. So we'll just have to, next time we are able to meet, we'll get them signed and go from there. So.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes.
Greg moves. Is there a
Second.
second? Marilyn second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hey,
Aye. Oh, hi, Molly.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Review of financial information.
All right. I sent this out to you guys earlier today. The only thing we're missing is the fund status for REAP and the trust. I sent a message to Julie in the auditor's office and she hasn't sent them to me yet. I mean, but there's nothing super pertinent there as well. But I'll go ahead. If nobody has questions on the financials I sent out, I'll just run through the bills real quick. So with everything COVID-19, of course, I'll talk a little bit more about this in a little bit, but we do have quite a few cabin shelter rentals that we are issuing refunds for the month of April. I guess I went ahead and made the decision to do this just in line with what the other county conservation boards are doing, of course, and Iowa DNR. We've all been keeping in pretty good contact and kind of trying to emulate what each other are doing, so that way most people are on the same page with these things. So you will see in the bills that there are a few names in there of people you may not know, and maybe you do know them. But so yeah, Angie Haub, a reservation that was canceled. Boone County Hospital, we had Sabrina, our seasonal naturalist, started, so that would be for her physical. Let's see, Boone County Sportsman, that's going to be renewal for the Sportsman Club for Blaine and Katie for shooting, training and things like that. Let's see, card services, we have a Amazon account now, so we've been trying to pick up as many, not as many things as we can, but the things that we don't have to go physically get, we can order them online and get them that way, so we don't have to, the whole social distancing thing. So there's a few things in there, and like I said, they're all within the bills. So D&K products, that's all of our golf course pesticides and herbicides and fertilizer for this season. Helen Graham, another reservation. Iowa DNR for $30. We're renewing some permits that we had for let's see, I think it's the scientific exhibitor and basically, and what the heck was the other one? Wildlife salvage. Basically, those are for our animal mounts and animal pelts that we have for environmental education. A lot of those are, species that you can't hunt that typically you have to have a special license for. So we haven't renewed those in quite a number of years. So Katie's went through and inventoried everything here over the last month and got those figured out, and we'll get those on the way, so that way we're legal with them. Iowa Fire Control, the hood cleaning for the clubhouse. John Van Ove, another reservation. Anything else on here that's not too... Michelle DeLong, another reservation. Moffitt's, Blaine's truck, his Ranger truck, had a fuel pump issue, so we got that fixed here. Mariah Sharp, another reservation. Ogden Farm and Feed looks a little higher than usual. Some of that is for the bait shop, but then we also had the hood to Rogers Jacobson fairway mower. He was hauling it down to Jacobson here. It's probably been a month ago, and the dang wind caught the hood, actually it'd be the back cowling for the engine and everything, and sent it flying into the ditch. So we got that repaired, just some metal modification, but it was obviously a little expensive to do that. Trying to think, Star Energy, LP Phil, Susan Delgado, another reservation, Sydney Dairy, another reservation. Turf Works had a motor go out in one of our turf mowers, our Batwing turf mower, so we had to replace that. And other than that, Wilcox Printing and Publishing, we had new golf cart stickers for 2020. And then Reap Bait Shop, we had 1,623 for the bait shop there. That was for all the interior dairy liner with on OSB. And then pretty much everything on the interior is finished. So, and we have the siding paid for the exterior. So that's project as far as money being spent is pretty well done. And then Ogden Farm and Feed, we had some odds and ends on there too. So any questions on anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Looks good.
All right.
Do we approve the bills then, or?
Yeah, so I talked to Beth in the auditor's office. I dropped those off here this afternoon. She said that way she could process them because the checks will be sent out on Wednesday, or the supervisors will approve to be sent out Wednesday. So she said it was fine if I brought them there, have you guys, or she'll go ahead and process them. Then I'll pick them back up at some point tomorrow. And then I'll have to meet up with a couple of you guys if we can make an arrangement to do that, so we can get those signed and then back to her by tomorrow afternoon. So that way they have them for the meeting on Wednesday. So if that works for you guys, seemed about
can
the
meet.
easiest way to do it.
I can meet up with you someplace.
Okay. Any
Yeah,
other
I can,
volunteers?
just tell me where and when.
Okay. When I hear from her tomorrow, she said she's going to call or email me when she has those done, and then I'll get a hold of you guys. And then, yeah, we can figure out somewhere to meet. I'll be around the park all day, so I can get wherever I need to. So,
Just call me, don't email me.
okay, I'll call you. That'll work. So, yeah, so I think we can go ahead and, approve them. And then, like I said, we'll get things signed and then back to them so that way they can be processed or paid.
Is there a motion to approve the bills?
I'll approve the bills.
Moved by
I'll
Molly,
second.
Motion.
second by Greg. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Cloverwood's update.
All right. So a lot happened right after our last meeting as far as Clover Woods. I believe right before we met, or right after we met last time, we got in touch with Lisa Hine from Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation just about the park, because we hadn't really heard back from the DNR as far as what the plans were. So we reached out to Lisa and she did some checking, talked with Joe McGovern and a few others in INHF, and kind of just wanted to know what the scoop was. Were they thinking that they were wanting to save the buildings? Were they wanting to do away with the building? What the plan was initially. So we set up a meeting. I think it was probably a week after we met last time. And during the week prior to that, we met with Lisa on site at Clover Woods and did some walking around and looking at the buildings and seeing, which ones we thought were even able, possibly might be able to be kept, and which ones, obviously, the ones that hadn't been used for quite some time would be demolished. And so I basically just put together just a shortened version of a kind of a cost effect or cost analysis for that. And then we met that following Friday via Zoom meeting with Todd Kofelt from the DNR, Todd Bishop from the DNR, Kelly Smith, who we originally met with through the DNR, Joe McGovern, Lisa, and there were a few others there too. Katie sat in with me as well, and just kind of went over what I had put together as far as the proposal to possibly, try to save some of the buildings on site. Had a really good conversation. We were probably had a meeting for a good 2 hours, just kind of discussing, what we see as a vision for the property, what they see, what INHF had plans for. And we came away with it. Basically, the DNR isn't really interested in keeping any of the buildings permanently. We talked about kind of on the short term, any way we could partner with them on programming and things like that. So during that meeting, we agreed to that. But as far as the buildings went, they said that they, with the experience that they'd had with Springbrook, Dolliver, with the cabins and things like that, that they were not interested, either way. If it were something where, we would lease the ground from them, they just didn't even want to be associated with anything like that. So we kind of got on the subject of, so what is going to happen with the park? What are your guys, what is the DNR's goals with the park? And they had kind of brought up, obviously there's a couple things there, like the tornado shelter and the Linden Lodge. Like Katie and I, we really expressed to them, if we were to do anything, as far as programming out there, you have to have some sort of facility for people to use, whether it be restroom, whether it be shelter from rain, cold, snow, hot, there has to be those things on site. So we, we were very effective at expressing that this is what needed to happen if they were to, if they wanted to move forward on programming and things like that. And we also kind of picked their brains a little bit about what type of programming, things that haven't been done elsewhere that we could bring, and what the DNR could bring to the site. And at that point, we talked about inviting Jay Gorsh from University of Iowa. He's in charge of the School of the Wild. I don't know if you guys remember me kind of talking and brought that to you guys, I think last fall. But they work with University of Iowa School of the Wild, and he had some really good ideas as far as serving special populations, which would be underserved communities, people with disabilities, physical limitations, and not necessarily just for them, but for them, family, friends, and things like that, to be able to come out and do, guided hunts, guided hikes, different programs for those underserved communities. So we told them at that point, we thought that was a good idea. But if they wanted really us to manage it or any sort of partnership, then like we told them, right now there has to be facilities on place. So we had talked with them about, the nature center beforehand and how we thought Linden Lodge would be a perfect, transition into a nature center. And they agreed. But again, ultimately, the DNR really didn't see themselves wanting to get involved in those buildings for the long term. But they did ask, what are your guys' thoughts on a new nature center? And like we told them, we said, well, obviously we're on a very limited budget. We would need, you're talking $2 to $3 million on the low end for, a pretty nice nature center. I don't know what Polk County's cost, but it was quite a bit more than that. And they, they understood. And that's when we told them, if this is something you guys want us to partner on, and of course I'd have to run that by the conservation board, we would be glad to, for the future. They know we're interested in a nature center, and they said that between INHF and the DNR, they said that they'd be glad to help us out any way they could. We also talked about possibly if we were to partially manage something out there, then a possible shared position between the DNR and county conservation. Of course, this is all just talk right now. Nothing's set in stone. INHF hasn't even presented this to the DNR, to the Natural Resource Commission for sale yet. So again, these are all very preliminary talks, but we just kind of let them know, if we understand the buildings, that's their decision on that. And we let them know some of the concerns that we had. And so as of now, we've had a couple other meetings with the DNR and Jay from University of Iowa about, so now that it looks like they're going to be moving forward, demoing a lot of the buildings, what are we supposed to tell people? What if people come and ask us, what's happening to the 4-H? We're kind of the first line of PR for this whole deal. So we wanted to know, what are we supposed to tell people? So we've been working with the DNR on just some sort of a mission statement to put out to people to let them know, hey, it's not going to be the camp that you guys remember, but we're working towards the future. These are the ideas we have as far as serving underserved communities, on and on and on. And again, there's going to have to be a lot of discussion before anything monetary gets discussed as far as a shared position, and things like that. But we did let them know that, yeah, in the interim, we can talk about a new nature center, but in the interim, we still need to have facilities on site. And they agreed. I don't think that we've gotten 100% go ahead on that, but they understood that if we were to do these things, we would need facilities. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's kind of what's going on there. Anybody have any questions, comments?
I do. So can you clarify, are they not tearing down the Linden Lodge right now, but they're planning to in the future?
In the future, yeah. And that's something we told them. We said, we don't think these things should really be torn down, but I understand where they're coming from, chasing old buildings. And they said it'd be a hard sell for the DNR if they were to put a bunch of money into this thing and then come back 10 years later and say, well, this thing really isn't really what we need. We need something better. They think it'd be a harder sell to, sell to the Natural Resource Commission. having already put a bunch of money into something rather than just tearing it down and building new. So, and I kind of told him, I said, well, that's the difference, between us and you guys is, we're able to take a lot, that's what we have to work with. We have, some of these old buildings and, we can't afford to just go out and build new. And, that's why we're coming with you to them. That's why we went to them with the proposal that we had. And again, they understood, appreciated, but I don't know. I think they'd kind of already had their minds made up as far as what was to happen with the building. So yes, as of now, that's what's happening. So,
But they might be letting you guys, us use that lodge for the next few years?
For the next few years to do programming, to run programming out of and things like that until we can come together, raise enough money for a new facility. And, and that's kind of what I told them. I said, if we want a partnership, obviously all parties have to benefit some way from it, and being able to use the grounds, well, it's a public ground anyway, we should be able to use it anyway. So being able to utilize their facilities and then possibly partnering with them in the, upcoming, sometime in the future on a new nature center, then we told them, that's kind of where we stand with things now. So anybody else? So yeah, so we have we met again last Friday, again, just like visioning and mission statement for what the plan, what the future of the park looks like. So that way we have a message when people start asking us what's going on out there. And then we've got another meeting next week, just to kind of finalize some of that stuff, give us some time to process what was done in the meeting on this last Friday, and kind of go from there. So again, it's kind of making it hard for everybody to make, informed decisions right now when we're not able to meet in person. But so yeah, like I said, that's kind of where we're at now. Nothing real new, just the fact that the DNR basically doesn't really want to have anything to do with the buildings. And I talked again with Lisa here about a week ago, and they were going to have the state fire marshal go through the property just to check the buildings. I think she said county, or maybe it was a district fire marshal, just to kind of go through the buildings again and get their opinion, just to see what they think about it. But again, DNRs, ultimately, they're the ones that are buying it, so it's really up to them. And like I told them, we'll respect any decision they have, but we need to know what the plans are, so that way when people start asking, we can kind of tell them, hey, this isn't it's not going to be what it was before, but this is what it's going to be now. So yeah, again, that's kind of where we're at with that. So
Okay. Response and policy for COVID-19 virus situation.
all right, so
What situation?
unless you've been living under a rock for the last 3 weeks, it's kind of crazy out there right now. Just kind of wanted to update you guys. I feel like I've been doing all right, emailing you guys any updates that we have as far as the county goes in response to COVID-19. Of course, now basically all of our rental facilities, Ronald Good Shelter, Lodge by the Lake, Sweet Point Shelter, and our 3 cabins, rentals and reservations have either been canceled, credited, or moved to a different date for those different reservations. And then we're not taking anything through the 30th as of now. Campgrounds, I guess, is part of that as well. As far as everything else goes, parks, trails, wildlife areas are still open. We've had a lot of calls from people about the bike trail, about wildlife areas, because turkey hunting's I guess upon us now. Youth season started this last week, and I think first season starts here Wednesday, maybe.
I think so.
So yeah, we've had a lot of people call and ask, what's open, what's not, and we've pretty much let them know, direct them to our website. We've got everything posted on our county website, our page on the county website, mycountyparks.com, and then our social media, as far as what our response is to the issue that we're having. as far as our staff goes, again, I sent you guys an email here a while. I think it would have been, it's probably been about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. As far as non-essential services, we're still not really sure what's essential and what's not. There's a lot of counties that are dealing with the same thing. We had a countywide director meeting, conservation director meeting here last week, and there's a lot of concern. A lot of different counties are handling things differently. Some are considered essential. Some whole conservation departments have been sent home and saying that they're non-essential. So I guess we're lucky enough. Well, hopefully lucky enough if we all get through this without catching this darn thing. But we are still able to operate. We've been trying to operate independently. Katie and I have basically been staggering split shifts out of the office. So that way, if I go get sick, we have somebody to, Katie would technically be my deputy, so she could run things, and then vice versa. Eric, on the other hand, he's been affected by childcare. They lost their childcare here pretty much when this whole thing first started. And luckily, our county has put a policy, basically the same one that I was talking about, essential services. And so I've basically been able to send him home on those days that he doesn't have childcare or his wife has to work. Unfortunately, she works for Greene County, and they haven't done a whole lot for their employees. And she's already burned up all of her sick leave, vacation, and everything due to this. So luckily, our supervisors were able to do what they can do, so he can take the time, and he's not having to burn through a lot of that accrued time off and stuff like that too. But unfortunately, it's kind of hurt our operations. He's our, he's our life, part of our lifeblood. Not like we all aren't, but, especially this time of year, trying to get the parks open, trying to get cabins back up and running, even though they're not open right now, we still need to get them opened up and make sure everything's working properly and stuff. So we have been affected by that. Roger, he kind of almost fits right in there with that, the age group that they're saying, is at more at a higher risk. So I told him right off the bat, basically, if you need to be here, to mow, work on irrigation, those types of things, that's great. But if it's a crappy day and you're stuck in the shop, cleaning or whatever, just go home. That way we can try to, flatten the curve and things like that. Same with Katie. Of course, all schools and things are shut down. Environmental education programming is shut down. So she hasn't, she's got things to do, but she's been mainly working from home because I've been in the office, still trying to get into the office every day and get some work done. So she's been doing, working on new programs, trying to adapt current programs with, Zoom meetings and things like that. Now that we have the full version of Zoom, she's got some things kind of in mind that she's going to put out here, just so kids can get on and the public can get on and take a look. And, we are still doing things. We're not just sitting out here at the park, having fun, enjoying the free time. So that's kind of where we're at. Blaine's been busy down at Swede Point. Again, he works pretty independent down there anyway, not around a lot of people. So he's been down there doing a lot of work in the shower house, trying to get things painted, new light fixtures and things like that hung up, which we're going to try to do up here at Don Williams before we get things going as well. So we got our new dock in last Tuesday, which is great. People, last Tuesday, if you guys remember, it was 75, 80 degrees outside. It was like Memorial Day out at Don Williams on a Tuesday. So they had a lot of people out using their boats. And of course, we've got signage posted, follow the guidelines. We probably could put up some more at some of those areas that are high traffic, just reminding people to use social distancing, if they're touching things, bring hand sanitizer and stuff like that. And I think most folks are pretty, well, I shouldn't say most, but there's a lot of people out there that are taking this seriously. So those are the ones, that hopefully can educate those that are not, and, we can get there through this thing a little quicker. But so yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now as far as policy, response plan, due to everything. Again, just kind of working on getting things getting things ready to open whenever that may be. Golf course clubhouse, we're talking about opening this Friday. I'm going to meet with Marie, our clubhouse concessionaire, tomorrow morning and just kind of go over some things, because that was one thing I mentioned to her. I just want them to be comfortable. They're the ones that are going to be in there taking the money and being coming into contact. So I just we're going to kind of chat about some things that we need to do, just as far as cleanliness and allowing, only a certain amount of people in the clubhouse at a time, one cart per person, those types of things. So that way, we can get through this thing. And, that the last thing we want is for an outbreak of this to come from, well, really anywhere but one of our parks. Just we nobody needs that. And, if it gets to the point where it's getting too busy, maybe we might push things back a little bit further. But that's kind of what I wanted to have the conversation with her tomorrow, to see if she's, still comfortable opening up Friday. Again, just to make sure that everything's safe with them, and then safe with the people that are going to be coming out to golf. So yeah, again, in a nutshell, that's kind of what's been going on. Anybody got any questions, comments on anything?
When we do open it back up for, like, say, the cabins or something,
Mhm.
are we gonna need to charge more to clean stuff after they're done, or are we just gonna cover that?
I talked with our cleaning person, who's been doing it for the last couple years, and I just kind of chatted with her because I was going to have her come out and clean some of our other facilities, really deep clean, and make sure things are, really clean for when we do open these things back up. Not to say our campground hosts can't do that, but again, they're kind of at the mercy of what's going on too. They're not allowed to get into the campgrounds, as far as we know, until after the 30th. We're still doing some checking on that, because we want to make sure they have a chance to get into some of these facilities and make sure they're clean. But that's something I can definitely ask her, if she's going to charge us extra to do the cleaning, any extra cleaning. I know they do. I mean, she's very big on sanitizing. Anytime there's pets or anything in any of the cabins, she always lets us know and says, hey, there's been pets in here, but we swept, mopped, sanitized, so they do a very good job anyway. But I will definitely check with her on that, just to be sure that we, if we do have to get charged an extra, 15-20 bucks, then that definitely could get put a hurt on, our revenue from that. So I'll ask her and get back to you on that. Anything else?
We ready to move on?
I guess I just wanted to clarify that it's okay for the clubhouse to open this Friday, because I thought the governor's order was through April 30th.
As far as I know like Briggs Woods, they're still open. The only thing that they can't be doing is, it said clubhouses and it said fraternization. So basically, we're not going to have the clubhouse open. It's just going to be open for transactions. I think that basically what they're talking about is, country clubs and things that have, hold on, I got a thing popping up here.
Because I think golf courses can still be open, can't they?
Yeah, they can. It's just like I was saying with the clubhouses, if a lot of the country clubs and things, they have men's league, they have women's league and things like that, and they all kind of congregate together before those things. So I think that's what they're trying to limit, are those. And yeah, again, we're not going to have the clubhouse open itself. Basically, we're just going to allow people to come in, pay for their golf, and then go from there. And then also Marie, with her food, she's still able to operate that way too, as far as to-go orders and things like that. So that's a good thing, because otherwise she wouldn't be making any money, basically running the show for us without making any money. So, and then alcohol sales and stuff like that are still allowed. But Jennifer, I will check into that just to be sure that there aren't any discrepancies between what we have and what the state is requesting. But yeah, I guess ask you guys, what are your guys' thoughts on opening Friday? Do you think we should push it back? Are you guys okay with that?
I'm okay with it. other places, Chester Park is open and Honey Creek's open and
Like I said,
golf
Briggs
courses in
Woods.
Des Moines are open. And
Yeah. So yeah,
As
like I
long as
said,
they're-
I think anybody, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut
Oh, I
you.
was just gonna say, as long as everybody, keeps their distance like they're supposed to.
Sure. And that's something too, like I've had conversations with Roger and kind of let him know, if there are people out there, they're not obeying the rules, you need to let either you go, let us know, let Katie know so she can go talk to him, or, giving him the permission. He's not typically afraid to go. He knows most of them anyway. So he'll go break things up. And again, the concessionaires know too. And as part of our rules, we don't allow more than a foursome anyway. So it kind of cuts down on the, groups of 10 anyway. But again, we just want to make sure people are using their own carts and things like that. Of course, if it's a, father daughter or something like that, we're not going to make it. But if they're, two separate parties wanting to use the same cart, we'll have to try to nip that in the bud. Keep thinking I'm hearing an echo from somewhere. Oh, I think it's my baby monitor. That's what it is. Sorry about that. I'm like, is there an echo with this thing? But all right. Anyway, moving on. Anybody else have any comments, questions about that?
I hope it isn't too long. We can look back and laugh at all this.
I hear you there, Al.
Yeah.
I hear you. But yeah, like I said, I'll just keep you guys updated on any new developments with anything. Again, we've just been following what Governor Reynolds has to say, keeping a close eye on what the DNR is doing, and then the other county conservation boards. So yeah, we'll keep you guys updated on that stuff.
I guess we're ready for the resolution for the grant for phase 1.
Yeah, so Snyder and Associates they apply, or I guess we applied. They wrote a grant for us for the phase 1 High Trestle Trail to Boone, coming out of Swede Point, or coming out of off of QF Lane to Swede Point Park. It was kind of a last minute deal. I don't know that we're going to get funded this year, but we've never applied for Land and Water Conservation Fund grant. So this will kind of give us an idea of what we need to do next year for that, which we found out is quite a few things. But they do require a resolution, even just for the. We still want to submit a valid grant, so that way they still score it, and we can kind of see where we fell, where we scored compared to some of the others. So I was just they needed a resolution on acquisition or development for the outdoor recreation portion of the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Did you guys all get that and have a chance to look at it?
Yeah.
Okay. I won't read it word for word then. But I'll probably just grab, if you guys all approve, I'll go ahead and get you to sign that too tomorrow. And again, this is just for a portion of grant funding for High Trestle Trail to Boone, via QF Lane to Swede Point Park.
We need a motion on that, or do we just?
I think you'll need I think we need a motion on that. Sorry, I didn't include that in the agenda.
I'll move to approve it. Resolution.
I'll second.
Molly moved and Greg seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Motion carried. Open discussion.
All right. Well, I've kind of given you guys your rundown of what's been going on with us. Again, no programming or anything going on right now. Just basically getting things. I guess this has kind of been. I never want to say blessing in disguise, because it's not a blessing by any means what's going on, but it has given us some time to get some of the much needed maintenance type things that we typically can't get done before things get cold and we open. So it is. I guess it is a good thing that we are able to take a little bit of this extra time to do these things. Of course, it hurts revenue, but I think my hope is when we do open things back up and the public comes in, they'll notice that we've been, trying to work hard to make sure the facilities we have are clean, updated as much as possible and things like that. So that's kind of where we're at with it right now. But yeah. So hopefully next month we can all get back together again. I don't know if that'll happen yet or not, but at least we got one meeting under the belt this way. So
Yeah, it worked out pretty good.
yeah, not bad.
Yep, it did.
I haven't got on YouTube yet to see if anybody's commented, but I suppose if they do, I'll forward them all to you guys and you can answer them. So, yeah, like I said, I don't really have much else. I'll keep you guys updated on any new developments with the COVID-19 and campground opening, clubhouse opening, everything. Hopefully will move smooth there. And yeah, we'll have a uneventful year, I guess, considering what's going on now.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks
Any
again, guys. And I guess you got to vote to adjourn.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
All right.
I
Well,
can't
sounds
believe
good.
we got this technology to work.
I'm holding two devices,
Amazing.
but it worked.
I saw you logging in with your phone and then, or your iPad and then your phone. I said, oh, maybe the audio doesn't work. But
Well, I 10 minutes till my friend was still drinking a beer in our chair, so I had to kick her out.
yeah. Well, yeah. Like I said, I'll get a hold of you, Al and Greg, tomorrow when I get the bills back from Beth, and then we'll get those signed, and then should be good. So,
Sounds
Okay.
good.
all right. Well, thank you all again, and we'll be talking soon, I'm sure.
Okay, thanks, Tanner.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Aye.